Hey Internet, this is Gunter with MiniMishaps Games, and today we are building a stage for an RPG tavern. This is a very exciting project. It is Terrain Tuesday, and last time on Terrain Tuesday we started painting and setting up our Glasha's pub, which really could be any RPG tavern, but it's the tavern where all the adventures start out. And today, because Glasha's has nightly live entertainment and hosts events like Battle of the Bards, we are going to be building a stage. And this is also a project where we're going to be using Sprues. If you're a Warhammer person or Frostgrave or any of the other games where the miniatures come on sprues and you have to clip them out and assemble them, this is a project that you can do for using up some of those sprues. Now, it doesn't have to be a stage. This can also be, you can make the same way you can make a table or bed or any number of pieces of furniture, chairs. But this one in particular is going to be a stage because I'm going to make it compatible with that castle set that we built from Mackie Games. So let's get started. First up, I've got this castle tile, and I'm going to mostly surround it with Play-Doh. Now I say mostly, I'm going to leave about half on the corner on one side so that I can make this a curve. So this will be where it is more like a stage than a table, is that it's going to butt back into a corner where there's two walls so that the stage can come out from the corner in the tavern. So as you can see, I'm clipping sprues and I'm clipping off any of the extra parts that stick out so that I'm just using the straight pieces. And you can see I'm kind of off-kiltering them, making sure that they're not all in a straight line, because I want this to really be sort of a well-used old installation. It's been there forever, built by hand by whoever built the tavern, kind of a pride project that they would have done. And so I'm cutting them to different lengths and filling in the gaps so that there are breaks in the boards and there are what looks like nails in the floor, and then you can put in some of the extra bits to be filler and things like that. So I'm mixed together my plastic. I'm going to fill up the bottom and make sure that all of them are coated, and then as you can see, I poured out the remaining. Now the best part is watching the plastic, because it will set up and it turns white when it hardens. So you can see there, now it's all ready to pop out of that mold and ready to go to the next stage. So I'm just going to give it a real fast covering in a darker brown. Beast brown, I think, is the official game color name for this paint. And I'll let that dry, and then we'll switch over. We'll give it another coat, this time of the lighter brown, which I think is their leather colored brown. And this one I'm being more sure to fill in some of those gaps. Next up, I've got my black wash, which is just black craft paint from the dollar store, watered down until it can help create that wood grain, and you just kind of smear it around until it looks like wood. So it really is a neat and easy way to make that wood grain in those boards happen, because you've already got the raised lines from the sprues. So then I'm going to go around the outside and just hit that with another round of brown after I've glued those legs on. So I made sure to measure the legs where they would fall naturally. They can stick down into that castle tile. And then here you can see I'm using a gunmetal to make all of the nails in the floor, which are the round circular parts of the sprues that they come with the parts where they're cut off from the factory, I'm assuming. and their version of a injection mold line. But either way, they turn into awesome looking nails. So here is the completed stage. It's ready to be installed into Glashas, and we're gonna just take some photos with some minis so you guys can see it in action at the Battle of the Bands. So first band, we've got the Temple of Pelor singers singing a carol there. Then we have Croon, the lizard folk, who's singing the song of his people there. Next up, we've got Jimmy Slick and his checkers. So these are some clay miniatures that I made 15 years ago when I was learning how to do armatures and some of that. So they're pretty rudimentary, but they are playing their instruments and having a good time there. And last but not least, we have our actual figures that are bards. This is Fancy and the Thunderfluffs. So so there you go. That's the stage in action. And this is our second project where we're working on completing that Glasha's pub. And so watch in future projects. We'll have installed our stage, and next week on Terrain Tuesday. So next week for Terrain and Treasure Tuesday, we are going to be making some tiny potions. And so that'll be a fun plastic project, and you can watch for that. So if you enjoyed this video, we appreciate if you want to like and subscribe or send us a couple of dollars over on Patreon. All of those are linked in the description. And this is so much fun. I haven't made a ton of terrain, but the miniature hobbyist has just made a ton of videos about how to use sprues for different things. And this is probably a spin-off of one of the tables or platform projects that he's used his sprues for. So took a lot of inspiration from those videos. Also, I take a lot of inspiration from Miscast Terrain, and he does a lot of amazing work. And so just the using what you have around you and making the different parts serve the purpose. I really appreciate those two channels and the work that they're doing. So make sure to check out their channels. We'll see you guys next time. I appreciate it. Thanks, Internet.